Are you a victim of life or are you a student of life? Life is a teacher. Life is meant to help us evolve, to grow, to learn, to expand our consciousness, to expand who we are as a person. That is the whole point of being a human being, is to evolve. There's a reason why every several hundred years the human mind expands, the societal standards change. We are human beings. We are meant to change. We are meant to evolve. That is just our purpose on this planet. And so our lives are meant to teach us something. They are meant to challenge us. There's a reason why life oftentimes is on hard mode and not on the easy mode, because it wants to teach us something. It wants us to grow. It wants us to expand in our consciousness and our awareness of things. But depending on our own perceptions, depending on how much we have grown, how much we have learned, how much we have evolved, can determine whether or not we are a victim of life or if we are a student of life. And the thing about this concept is that it is up to us to decide if we are the student or if we are the victim. Life doesn't decide that for us. We decide it depending on how we want to perceive our life. And most of the time, especially through social media, day-to-day life, I feel like I meet more people who are victims of lives and not necessarily student of life. And I feel like this is an important question for us to kind of reflect on and to kind of think about. Are you making yourself the victim of your life or are you becoming the student? When you make the decision to become the student, everything in your life changes for the better. You start to understand that there's a meaning behind everything. You start to be able to accept things more into your life. You start to be able to be more compassionate, more gracious towards things in your life, because you realize this is happening for my betterment, not to ruin me, not to destroy me, but to make me stronger, but to make me more confident, to make me more smart, to make me a better human being. When you start to have that mindset of I'm here to become better, life is making me better, it may not result in the type of lessons or the type of tests that you want, the type of results that you want, but you know at the end of the day, everything is going to work out for your betterment. When you learn to have that mindset, you become a student of life. You allow life to be a teacher. When you're in school and you're a student and the teacher is teaching you math, the teacher's teaching you English, the teacher is teaching you science, whatever it is, they are going to challenge you. Why? Because they want you to learn. You cannot learn when something is easy. When something is easy, that means you already have the knowledge of something. When something is hard, it means that it's challenging you to learn something, to grow. That is the point of a teacher. That is the point of life. That is what life is trying to do. Life is trying to make you better. And it's up to you to decide based off of your own perceptions. Are you going to let life teach you? Are you going to let life make you be a better person? Or are you going to become a victim of life? That is up to you to decide. No one else can decide that for you. And I feel like a lot of times people want to play the victim of life because that's the easy route. That's the easy choice to make. When you constantly are choosing, you know what, I'm going to play the victim. I'm going to be the victim. When you play the victim, you're trying to play life on easy mode, and you can't play life on easy mode. You can try, you might get away with it from time to time, but there's no longevity to playing life on easy mode, okay? There's no grand result playing life on easy mode. I've met a lot of people who play life on easy mode, and yeah, you get that little instant gratification, but in the long term, you don't get much result. You don't get to reap what you sow because you kept playing it easy. You kept playing it safe. You didn't grow. You didn't evolve. So before you know it, you're just having and repeating the same life you've always had. And that's going to frustrate you. You end up disappointed. You end up having a lot of regrets. Well, like, dang, what if I did get out of my comfort zone and took that risk? What would have happened? Or dang, what if I did, put myself out there more? What would have happened? You didn't allow life to teach you. You didn't allow life to challenge you. So you end up just repeating the same cycles over and over again. And you end up being frustrated and regretful. But I digress. But as I was saying, a lot of times I feel like I meet people who want to be the victim. They want to play the victim of life because that's easy. It's easy to play the victim. It's easy to be pessimistic. It's easy to fall into the negativity because that's how our brains are conditioned. Our brains are conditioned to think negatively. That's the easy way. And so that's why people want to play victim. That's why on social media, it's like every time you scroll, it's just victim, 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 victim. Let me tell you how horrible my life is. Let me tell you why I'm dealing with such hardships. Let me tell you why I'm the victim of my life. Victim, victim, victim. Everybody wants to be the victim because that is the easy choice. That is the easy route. That is playing life on easy mode. Because when you play the victim, you can sit in your own misery. When you play victim, you can bring everyone else along. You can tag other people along into your own misery. It is hard to choose to be an optimist in life. It is hard to choose to be a student of life, because as soon as you do, then it's like, oh, you think you're better? Oh, you think you're smarter? Or you think that you know more than me? You think that you're better than me? And it's like, no, I don't. It's just, I know that life is meant to teach me. Life is meant to challenge me. Life is meant to evolve me and grow me. And when I learn to accept that that is the point of life, I'm going to allow myself to be the student of life, of said life. Because when I allow myself to be that student, I don't fall victim to things. I don't fall into the negativity of things. I don't fall into the misery of things. I allow myself to grow. I allow myself to be better because I perceive life to be that way. As soon as you perceive life as, oh, life is trying to ruin me, life wants to shut me out, life wants to ruin me, you're playing the victim. You're not allowing yourself to grow. You're staying in a very low vibrational, low level of consciousness, a low level of frequency. And when you do that, don't be surprised when that's what you reap. Don't be surprised when you don't get the blessings or the opportunities or the miracles or the growth or the expansion that you don't want because you weren't willing to put in the work. When someone decides to be a student of life, they're officially deciding, you know what, I'm going to do the work. I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to heal my wounds. I'm going to work through my insecurities. I'm going to work through my past so I can have a more prosperous future. When you decide to be the student, you are deciding to partner up with life instead of letting life dictate you. You are deciding to co-create with God instead of letting the negativity, letting the enemy, letting the devil, however you want to call it, whatever you believe, get the best of you. We are all meant to be students of life, but because of free will, because we are blessed with choice, it is up to decide if we're going to be the student of life. And I'm making this video because I want people to realize that they have the choice. You always have a choice. I don't care what anyone says. You always have a choice whether you like it or not. You get to choose how you want to live your life. You get to choose how you want to dictate your life. You decide. No one else is going to decide that for you. You get to decide. So wake up and realize, are you being the student of your life or are you playing victim? And make sure you're choosing wisely. If you continuously choose to play the victim, don't be surprised when you reap what you sow. When you decide to be the student, don't be surprised when you reap what you sow. You will reap what you sow. The choice is yours. It's up for you to decide. And so I hope that this video kind of wakes you up to realizing like, hey, like, have I been playing the victim or have I been the student? Have I been learning and growing and expanding my mind and bettering myself? Or have I just been staying in the same small mindset that I've had for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? There's a reason why there's some people have arrested development is because they don't want to be a student of life anymore. They want to play victim. They want to be like, oh, poor me. This is why I can't grow. Oh, poor me. This is why I can't do better. They always want to blame everything else and everyone else, but never want to look at themselves and realize, hey, I have a choice to make. I have a decision to make. I have an action to take upon. And it's up to me to decide whether or not I want to grow. I can't blame my parents. I can't blame my friends. I can't blame my environment. I can't blame everyone else all the time. Sometimes I have to look at myself and be like, what can I do? What can I do to better myself? Maybe this environment is affecting me, but I had the choice to leave. Maybe this relationship isn't working out for me, but I had the choice to leave. Maybe this job isn't working out for me, but I had the choice to leave. I had the choice to go get an education and get more degrees and get more certifications so I can get a different job. I had the choice to apply to other jobs. I had the choice to put myself out there. I had the choice to decide. That is up to me. So when you realize that you have the choice and that everything in life literally is just perception based off the choices that you made, I hope that you'll choose better. I hope that you'll do better and you will reap what you sow. Every person that I've ever met that has chosen to be a student of life, who has chosen to better themselves, who has chosen to grow, to expand, always ends up being the most successful people that I know. The most abundant, the most wealthiest, because they were willing to take a risk. They were willing to change their perception, because when you change your perception, you are taking a risk. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, when you choose to be a student of life, it's gonna be lonely a lot of the time. Because a lot of people don't wanna be a student of life. They wanna be a victim because that's easy. Like I said, it's easy. That's the easy choice. And when you choose to be a student, you are being the oddball. You are choosing differently. You are being differently. And so it can be very lonely. It's a very lonely journey. But what I've noticed is that the most successful people always chose to be a student of life. Michael Jackson has this very iconic quote where he said to study the greats and become greater. How do you become greater? You allow life to teach you. You allow yourself to be a student of life. When you allow life to not punish you and not diminish you and make you feel less than and make you feel like you're nothing, and make you miserable, you can't become greater. You can only become greater when you do things and perceive things differently than the majority. There's a reason why the majority is not successful. There's a reason why successful people are a minority, is because they are doing things that the majority don't want to do. They are perceiving life in a different way. They are going about life in a different way. So if you want to reap more success, more benefits, more happiness, more joy, you have to be willing to take the risk. You have to be willing to choose to be a student of life and not a victim. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying that, you're going to reap what you sow and overnight. I'm not saying that you're going to gain success overnight. It still takes time. It still requires patience. It still requires discipline. It still requires consistency. However, the results that you achieve, the results that you are given, surpasses any amount of time that you had to wait, any amount of discipline, any amount of consistency, any amount of hard work that you had to do. I mean, look at the greats. Michael Jackson, like he said, look at the greats, study the greats and become greater. When you look at the greats, when you look at Henry Ford, when you look at Albert Einstein, when you look at Michael Jackson, when you look at all these greats and you study how they thought, how they processed life, how they manifested things, how they grew, how they expanded. When you study these things, you realize one thing they all had in common. They were willing to be a student of life. They did not let life take them down. They did not let life make them miserable. They did not let life stop them. They allowed life to benefit them by teaching them, by guiding them, that by pressing them forward, by propelling them forward. And they made that choice. That was a choice that they made. So if you want to reap rewards like how they did and reap benefits like how they did, you got to make that choice. Again, it's not going to happen overnight. Michael Jackson didn't become Michael Jackson overnight. Henry Ford didn't become Henry Ford overnight. Henry Ford was a college student dropout, if I'm not mistaken, right? Michael Jordan, he didn't get on his high school basketball team. When you look at the greats, you'll realize they dealt with hardships like everyone else. They dealt with setbacks like everyone else. But what separates them from everyone else is that they didn't give up. They kept going and they kept being what? A student of life. They kept learning. They kept growing. So the choice is yours. Who you want to be, what you want to do, how you want to perceive life, the benefits, the success, the things that you want to reap, the things that you want to achieve in life. It's up to you. It's up to you. Because at the end of the day, you came into this world by yourself. And you're going to leave the world by yourself, for better or for worse. So it's up to you what you do in between that time. Are you going to choose to stay the greats and become greater? Are you going to choose to be a student of life? Or are you going to play victim and be like everyone else? The choice is yours. Choose wisely. It says hi.